Hello stars, my name is Blue and today we are lost in Hiveswap Friendsim. Last time we left off, we finished off volume 16, I believe, with Marvis. Yes. So today we start volume 17 of Teen and Tech Acerbic? Teen and Tech Acerbic. Ah yeah, this is it, fellas. Another night of laughter and camaraderie. Another night of joy and communion with some totally normal teens who would never... Haha, just kidding, idiot. You're still in Alternia. You just know one of these miserable chuckle fucks is around here somewhere, waiting for the exact right moment to undate you with another disgusting dose of friendship. MC is over friendship. Who's going to be the Arthur of your destruction on this accursed evening? Daria? Yeah, Daria. We got lady who could totally crush me with her biceps. And me as a teenager. Daria. I'm just gonna say Daria. Your feet drag as you walk, every limb heavy and slow, and your thoughts are cloudy and dull. Your palm husk is filled with unanswered text. You feel guilty about this, in the back of your mind, where real feelings live crammed together because in the front of your mind is too busy being lethargic and numb. Being a bad friend goes against the core tenets of your beliefs. Just answering text seems like too much effort. You're not sure where this particular malice came from, just that the usual friend-making animus that drives you is still there. But it doesn't feel strong enough to overcome how tired you are of everything else. You can't quite remember how it felt to care that much about companionship and camaraderie. In fact, right now, you can't remember how it felt to care much about anything. Your thoughts drift to fantasies of driving your car into the uninhabitable Alternian desert until you run out of fuel and perhaps letting the sun have its way with you. MC has turned suicidal. It could be part of the feeling that you've almost made all the friends there are to make, and that there's little left for you to do on this planet. It could be weeks of trauma catching up and sinking you into depression to protect you from thinking about it all. Either way, it just feels like too much effort to do anything, and you'd sort of welcome oblivion if it showed up right now to offer its sweet embrace. Your listless walking has taken you into a familiar neighborhood. The cerulean part of town. You smile as you reminisce, sweet memories peeking through like beams of sunlight through the fog of your apathy. Not far from here is Malik's Hive, with all of its hacking equipment and charming upper-middle-class atmosphere of entitlement, complacence, mixed with vaguely social-aware concern. And though you've only seen pictures of it on Chitter, you know that Ramel's hipster art studio, Hive, is also in the neighborhood. And one block over is Ardata's place, which gave you your gruesome and troubling introduction to Alternian social mores. One taught you love, one taught you patience, one taught you pain, or something like that. That is loud! Okay. The hive you're closest to is actually L-words, and as you shamble closer, you realize that a lot of older trolls seem to be converging here too. Fishing out your palm husk, you see that the unread message from L-word is an invitation to a party at her place. Looking around, you feel a flame of your old desire to meet and greet rekindle in your heart. There are plenty of trolls here you haven't met yet, plenty of opportunities for friendships. The now roaring fire in your belly feels a little artificial, like someone just injected you with friend-making hormones to flood out your regular human melancholy, but you're not going to complain because this is vastly preferable. As you're walking briskly towards Elward's hive, you spot a troll lurking in the shadows by Elward's back door. Curious, you approach, and when you get closer, you spot a jade green in her outfit. Although there's not much of her blood color in comparison to what other trolls seem to sport, because she's mostly wearing black and spikes and black spikes. Ugh, it's you. Guess it makes sense you'd be here. You're probably friends with Elward, huh? Still loud. Whatever. Yeah, you're friends with Elward, but you didn't come here for the party. You're just in the neighborhood. You try to make Daria's disaffected slouch. It's not hard, as you can just channel the you from about 60 seconds ago, who was very disaffected indeed. From the approving arch of Daria's eyebrow, you think you're doing a pretty good job. Yeah, parties are lame. Most parties are, anyway. This one might be cool. Elward's pretty cool. I mean, she seems alright. I don't think she's that cool. I just think her hair and clothes and personality don't completely suck is all. You tactfully don't comment on the green blush to Daria's cheeks when she's talking about Elward, nor the way she keeps glancing at the door like she's hoping someone will invite her in. She's clearly trying to sneak into this party and doesn't have an invite. When a branch snaps in the bushes, Daria startles and looks around shiftily. You wonder if she's supposed to be out here on her own this far from the caverns at all. I'm not a baby like Banshee. So what if I snuck out? The cloister rules are so lame. Bronya is so lame. I can't believe Elward used to hang out with her. But I guess if she hadn't befriended Bronya, then I never would have met her. God, we were doing alright. It's hard to meet non-jade bloods in the caverns. All the time you're underground with nothing but lucii and grubs and the same stupid jades all day. It sucks down here. Daria's imitation grubhorn bracelets clunk as she folds her arms over her chest. Her heavy makeup makes it look like her eyes are twin black holes where all the sense of fun and caring about things might go to die. She's giving you a marked contrast from how Bronya talked about the caverns, with the peace and quiet and safety they offered compared to Alternia's surface. And other than the time Linra nearly killed you in the cave, and that time you were nearly trampled by rampaging luces, you remember liking the caverns. Psh, you would think that. Don't know why I thought you might be cool. You might be friends with Elward, but you're also friends with, Bronya and Linra. They're the two most boring trolls on this planet. You can't help but feel slightly defensive of your friends. Sure, Linra is Linra, but you wouldn't call her boring. And Bronya is very fond of rules, it's true, but she can hang. Whatever. This conversation is dumb. I don't care if you can't get me into the party. Nothing matters anyways. Just make your stupid choice and go on with it. Let's... Oh, I see Zebra's face. That's not a face I wanted to see today. Let's, party hard. What the hell. It's not your job to keep everyone in line. To keep anyone in line. And it's not like you have a great understanding of why even the older Jade Bloods need to stay underground anyway. If Daria wants to sneak into parties and get into trouble, who are you to say no? Daria expresses no pleasure at her decision to get her into the party. She just shrugs and rolls her eyes. You shrug and roll your eyes back. You can play the role of disaffected teen with the best of them. You take her around to the front door. Hey, you're looking forward to seeing Elward again. When you met her, you didn't have nearly as many friends as you do now, and in retrospect, you know you came off as kind of sycophantic. Wouldn't it be great if you could introduce Elward to the new popular and knowledgeable you? As you're walking up the steps, the huge shadow dwarfs you. You look up to see Chahat, all trolls, grinning above you. Well, hey there, little one. I remember you. And who is this new little one you've got with you? Chahat switches her interest from you to Daria, grinning down at her. Daria isn't huge for a jade blood or anything, but she seems absurdly tiny with Chahat looming down on her like that. Her face remains impassive and bored, but she scuffs one of her big black boots on the ground and twists one of her spiky bracelets around her wrist. Cute. I don't see many little jades outside the caverns. I've always found greenies fascinating, so devoted to the continuation of the species. What a holy mission. Chahat moves slowly and lazily, like she has all the time in the world and no conceivable reason to rush, and reaches out to pat Daria's shoulder. She lets her hand linger, one claw resting against Daria's neck. Ain't it a dangerous proposition to be so far away from your green brothers and sisters? Unless you're hiding something in those pretty veins. A slimy chill runs down your spine. Daria seems frozen to the spot, staring straight ahead at Chahat's bosom in front of her. You think Chahat is joking, but it can be hard to tell with clowns. The humor is just so much more highbrow than everyone else's. Just joking. This looks like a good party, even if L-word is too blasphemous for my taste sometimes. So, see both of you little ones inside. And then she ambles away, bending down only to duck inside the door to the party. You hear the party sounds, music, laughter, and clinking drinks, and what could be the sound of someone being murdered, which qualifies as a party noise on this planet. When the door swings shut again, you and Daria look at each other. Daria's heavy makeup can make it hard to read her expression, but you can tell that she's a little rattled. You know what? It looks like this party's filled with lame performers. All these high bloods that buy into the system and do what they're told, even L-word. We can find something better to do somewhere else. Yeah, to hell with this party. You're down to find your own fun, especially if that means not pitting Daria in the way of potentially murder-happy clowns. As you saunter away from the party, you realize that Daria is looking at you expectingly. Well, you've got this reputation for being all unconventional and weird and rebellious. Everyone seems to think you're, like, totally fucking with the conventions of society or whatever. So, got any suggestions for cool shit to do? God, you sure felt a lot of pressure to be quirky since word has spread about your maniac pixie dream aliens. It's not like you're trying to be a vehicle for other characters to project onto, assisting in character growth and insight for those around you, while your impulse decisions and carefree ways somehow keep yourself stagnant and forever unchanged. It just seems to somehow be like that. Anyway, you're tired and it's daunting to have a punk teen expecting you to come up with suggestions for cool stuff. You have a feeling she's going to shoot down whatever you suggest. You rack your brain trying to think of anywhere from your many adventures that Daria might like. You think Big Pan comes up with zilch and squat. She's starting to look bored with you. Confessing that you can't think of anything is probably an option if you want Daria to be your friend. And as exhausting and disillusioned as you feel with your societal routine, you like her and you want to bond. I don't know. What do you want to do? You tell Daria you have no idea for cool things to do because everything on this planet is lame. But she's from here. Doesn't she know any non-lame places to go? Ugh, I told you, I'm stuck underground all the time. It's not my fault that I'm literally sheltered and never get to do any fun. Oops, maybe this was the wrong approach. She seems pissed at you, but then Daria sighs loudly and uncrossed her arms from her chest. I do know of one place that's pretty alright, I guess. Better than here, anyway. It's far, though. Not a problem. You've got wills. You were walking around the neighborhood because, well, you felt lifeless and glum, and your car needs alien fuel, which you've been reluctant to ask someone how to get because you don't want to be told it runs on rub grease or something like that. But now you have a purpose again, so you're more than willing to provide transportation in service of your new friendship goal. You take Daria to your car parked a few blocks away, and she directs you where to go. It's still like cracked and whatnot. You drive through the neighborhood after neighborhood, through the yellow blood slums where you met Folly Cole and Cuprum, the busy urban sector where you had adventures with Hagora, the Austri Indigo Blood Enclave where Gale lives. Eventually the buildings get sparse, and you think about how you were yearning to drive out into the burned landscapes and not die. Maybe, but stop. Just let it all in. You don't think Daria would take you all the way out here just for you to both meet Sweet Oblivion, but who knows? Trolls can be kind of hard to predict. Just when you think you've reached a point where there can't be any more city or shrubs left, a rumble of massive old buildings come into view. It looks almost like a miniature version of main Alternian city that you're used to, except it's all abandoned, mostly ruined. Nothing around here looks inhabitable. Rumor has it that some of the trolls who lived here pissed off the contents, so she cooled the whole town. That would have been way back in the day. It's ancient history now. If there were any survivors, I guess they'd either be dead or up in space. Anyway, all these old buildings are kinda sick. There's never anyone else here, and I'm into that. You drive until she tells you to stop in front of a huge crumbling building, and even though this thing is half gone, you can still see it's a mall. It seems a bit different from the mall you visited with Polypa, aside from the fact that it's totally dark and there's no one inside. It seems more old-fashioned and a lot more like one of your familiar Earth malls. Every dystopian movie you've ever seen has taught you to be extremely wary of abandoned malls, and you feel pretty nervous as Daria takes you up the rickety, frozen escalator. It's so dark you can barely see your hand in front of your face. You're trying not to show your fear because you don't want to look like a wuss in front of Daria, but you can't hold back a whimper when your foot lands on a step and makes a distinctive about to collapse noise. Don't be scared. It's okay. I've climbed all over this place 1,000 times, and anything that isn't already disintegrated is sturdy enough. And there's no risk of cooling out here because, well, everyone's already been cooled. She's gentler towards you than you would have expected, given her cynical and spiky demeanor. You swallow your fear as you reach the top of the escalator and tell her that it's chill, you just have some horror movie associations. Daria turns and pats you stiffly on the arm. You would never tell her this, but her reassuring manner once she's noticed someone is in distress kinda reminds you of Bronya. It's worth it once you get to the cool part. Come on! Shit continues to be dark for a while, though you can see a light up ahead. As you get closer, I feel like I'm being drowned out. Hang on. Settings. Okay. As you get closer, the hall opens up into a food court, and you see that the light is moonlight shining through the mostly absent roof. And Daria was right. There's something extremely surreal and cool about a decrepit, empty food court with a roof caved in. The rubble sits atop a cafeteria tables, and plastic food trays are scattered on the floor, and okay, that may be the remains of a troll skeleton still wearing a mostly disintegrated fast food uniform, which is less cool and makes you remember that this place is abandoned because the contents sent drones here to murder everyone. You want to know the weirdest thing about this mall? It seems like actual adults used to maybe work here. Though, I've gone through a lot of the stores, and some of them are for adult-sized things. And there's a store just for, like, shit the drones bring you now. There's army supplies for going off-world, too. If this mall was for adults, it must be really fucking ancient. Jeez. Has it really been that long since there aren't any adults on this planet? Even after all your time on Alternia, it still kind of freaks you out. What must that be like, growing up entirely without adults, to live on a planet that's nothing but kids? Daria gives you a weird look. What would it even be like to have adults down here too? That sounds way more dangerous and stupid. It's not like we're all wigglers. Trolls have to grow out of that mindset pretty fast. People have responsibilities or whatever the fuck, or at least they pretend to. And there's trading and stuff for jades. We're basically trapped. Maybe you think that a planet of kids would mean you can do whatever you want. But I've never had any freedom. And I'll have even less as an adult. Cloistered jades aren't even allowed to join the Imperial Army. Instead, we get shipped off to live in isolation. We're forbidden to contribute genetic material to the slurry, and no paling is allowed once we mature. For some, I don't know, bullshit old-fashioned reason that I pretty much don't understand at all. On Alternia, your whole future is decided the second you're hatched. People tell me all the time that I have it lucky as a jade blood, but I don't feel lucky at all. Oof, yeah, you agree with Daria that the future she described sounds bleak as hell, right? It's gonna fucking suck. And it's so shitty that I have it good. I mean, at least I don't have certain early deaths in my future, unlike a lot of low bloods. The system is so fucked up and it's never gonna change, and I hate it here. I just want a way out. Maybe when you go back to your home planet, you could take me with you. The request comes out of the left field, and for a few seconds, you just blink at her stupidly. Even with all the angry black makeup around her eyes, she just looks so sad. Sad and lost. You wish you had a different answer to give her, but you tell her you can't take her back to your planet because you don't know how, when, or if you're ever going home. You've been trying not to contemplate the future because on rare occasions that you do let yourself think about it, existential dread tends to take over. Dread, yeah, that's the word for it. The older I get, the more I realize how shitty things are. I try not to think about it, just like you. But it still hits home sometimes, and when it does, I don't feel like angry or rebellious. Instead, I just feel completely fucking paralyzed. This too is a familiar emotion to you. You feel for Daria, who has wandered over to the middle of the food court and is staring through the cave in at the moons. She has her arms wrapped around her middle, and the spiky jewelry and jagged haircut and big black boots don't do anything to make her less small. But you wish you knew what to say to make her feel better. You've done a decent job at cheering up dejected trolls in the past, but it's hard when you're feeling so crappy about your own situation. You mutter something about how things could still get better. You never know what the future holds, yada yada. And she looks at you like she knows just how hollow your words are. Ugh, you sound just like Bronya. Next you're gonna tell me how important jade bloods are and what an honor all this responsibility is. Give me a break. Optimism is for chumps and losers. Keeping grubs safe doesn't matter. The continuation of our species doesn't matter. Nothing any of us do fucking matters. You feel your blood getting hot to match the still that's now in her voice. A sick part of you finds the train of thought a lot more viscerally satisfying than trying to cheer her up, which wasn't working anyways. You stamp your feet, so she does she. I can't believe anyone bothers trying to carve out a real life in this worthless shithole of a planet. There's no point. We might as well all be cold. In the back of your mind, you know you should maybe be disagreeing with all of this, but you're too worked up to care. Maybe Daria's right. Maybe nothing matters. It's fucking right. Maybe I should just quit. You falter in your righteous fury. Maybe quitting is going a bit far. Maybe the high bloods that go around causing death and destruction just because they can't have the right idea. This is starting to not sound so great. What doesn't sound great about it? Who cares if I decide I don't want to be a caretaker and instead I just burn shit down for fun? There's no point to anything, so what does it matter? Who cares? Daria's hands are balled up into fists and her teeth are bare as she glares at you. You open your mouth, maybe to tell her that you care, even though that would probably sound trite, but no words come out. She scoffs and turns away from you and jumps on the crumbly looking cafeteria table. You know what? Fuck this. Friendship is pointless as everything else. She picks up one of the chairs, and you really need to stop being surprised at the strength of even the scrawniest looking trolls and hurls it at the newest fast food stall. You thought it was just a random throw at first, but then it appears she's aiming with precision because it crashes into a tank of fuel connected to the oven. You're not sure how Alternian cooking technology works, but the stall explodes into a huge green tinged fireball that knocks you on your ass. You watch in horror from your ass level vantage pointless as the flames lick into the restaurant on either side, explosions happening around the food court like dominoes. Daria stands on her table in the middle of it, unmoving even as the fire threatens to envelop her. This is probably the only place I actually like on this whole planet. So good riddance. If it's gone, one less thing to care about. With all the dust and debris, this mall is coming down fast around you. You desperately want to get Daria out of there, but you desperately want to save yourself more. And Daria doesn't look like she wants to be saved. You try to make a feeble attempt going over to her and grabbing her around the waist to get her out of there, but she kicks you hard in the chest. Her steel-toed combat boots send you flying in, once again, 0 days since you last broke your ribs. As used to this pain as you are, it still takes a second of lying on the ground in agony before you can push yourself up to look back at the food court. A wall of fire now separates you from the tables inside. You can't even see Daria anymore. Your heart sinks. Maybe she'll come to her senses and pull herself up out of danger and escape through the cave-in roof. Maybe she'll get out some other way. You stumble to your feet, half thinking that maybe you can find water or a fire extinguisher or in some part of this mall that isn't burning up, but smoke chokes your lungs in panic. Your human survival instincts take over. You dash down the escalator as mall infrastructure starts to crumble around you, and you don't want to abandon Daria, but it's all you can do to get your own sorry self out there alive. Okay. Wrong choice. And I'm dying over here. Wander the street like hoodlums. Here's the thing. Your weirdest and best adventures happen when you've decided to be spontaneous and just let shit happen. Adventures and coolness are both hard things to plan. So what, you suggesting that we just wander? A higher versus tone makes you hesitate. But, well, yes, that's exactly what you're suggesting. Daria gives you a long considering look. You hold your breath, then she shrugs. Okay, whatever, sure. It's not like I have anything better to do. Let's just go. You meander through well-maintained cerulean streets, heading downtown. This seems like a good opportunity to get to know your potential friend. So you start asking her some fairly simple questions. Ugh. How am I? Gee, I don't know. I'm forbidden to leave stupid caverns, and as a J-Blood, all I have to look forward to in life is being forbidden to do things. How do you think I am? Okay. You try to walk that one back a little. It sounds like Daria is unsatisfied with the J-Blood setup. That's one way to put it. You could also say that I'm unsatisfied with, like, the whole setup of my species. You've been here for a while now. Don't tell me you haven't noticed every part of our society is transparent bullshit. You glance around because Daria's right. You've been around for a while, and that means you know enough to know that if the wrong people overheard this kind of talk, you'd both get killed on the spot. But everyone seems distracted by their own nonsense. Cautiously, you concede that, yeah, you've noticed certain bullshit aroma. Yep, it all stinks. No one has any real kind of future except for the highest of high bloods. And actually, I've heard that things pretty much suck for them too. Some might say that purple bloods are the most disprivileged class of them all. You're just going to continue to not comment on that one. Instead, you point out that being a J-Blood, Daria has a purpose just beyond growing up to become fodder in the Imperial Army. Like you've heard the other trolls mention. Surely that counts as a real future. Ugh. Don't get me started. Suffice to say, I'm not exactly hype about the purpose that I supposedly have. More like the purpose that was arbitrarily assigned to me. But it's not like I have a choice, and rebelling in any sort of real way puts me in danger of a culling. Life here is pretty much just hopeless. Damn. You wish you had a good counter-argument, but you want to give her some words of comfort. But what can you say? Daria's right. Shit's grim. At least you're honest. Thanks for not bullshitting me. You know, Linero said you were good to talk to about real stuff. I guess she was right. That's... Huh. You're surprised that Linero is going around talking about you, saying positive things. But you're more surprised that Daria is bringing her up in a non-diversive context. You didn't know that Daria and Linera were close? Ugh, no, gross. I hate Linera. And not in a romantic way. Or, well... Anyway, never mind. Daria looks embarrassed and flustered, and also pissed at you. At least you got the subject away from how hopeless everything is, but still, you don't want this friendship to sour. As you're scanning your useless brand for tactical subject changes, you're saved by the footsteps of a new troll approaching. As luck would have it, you know this troll. It's Ty! Which makes sense because your Mandarin has taken you and Daria close to Ty's favorite book hive. Oh, it's you. What are you doing here? Never mind, I don't even need to ask. You're obviously making friends with this J-Blood. Searching for some dumb shit to do with no doubt. Don't let me keep you. Ty looks just as exhausted as you remember. You don't want her to go just yet, because it's been a while since you've seen her, and you're always eager for an opportunity to catch up with friends, especially one of the less murderous ones. Then you notice Daria eyeing Ty's mug of unidentified liquid, and an idea occurs to you. You get excited, bouncing a little on the balls of your feet as you introduce Ty and Daria to each other. You explain to Ty with a meaningful look that you hope she'll interpret correctly, that you and Daria were just conversing about the more unjust aspects of Alternian society and how hopeless everything seems to be. What do you mean, the more unjust suspects? Does Alternian society have aspects that are not unjust? I'm swept into studying our legal system and I haven't found any. Daria makes a muffled sound that could be a laugh. You make your meaningful look more meaningful. Doesn't Ty remember the conversation she had with you about justice in this shitty system? The importance of possibly futile work to try and improve things someday? Hissing? Ty squints at you, then takes a long slurp from her mug. Right. Yeah, I remember. You wave your hands around. Now you're talking. Ty is one of the few friends you've made that seems to not only notice that shit is fucked, but wanted to dedicate herself to unfucking the shit as much as she could. Of course, many of your dear friends try to make the world a little better in various clumsy, interpersonal, distinctly Alternian ways. You think of Chixie striving for her music, even when it pits her against Highbloods, the baffling but sweet ways that Kanyal and Azdaja and Gel and Torga care for each other. And Fuzzer's commitment to political weight. Why did you think of that guy? He's a total shill for Constance. Anyway, Ty has a big picture mentality and a cause that she believes in, and the simple fact that she hasn't completely given up is inspiring. Daria struggles with the feelings of despair, so maybe Ty could talk to her about the work that she's been doing. What? No, I'm not struggling. It's whatever. I don't even care. Daria kicks the ground sulkingly. Ty looks over to her, eyes lingering on the jade symbol on her shirt and her spiky black jewelry, and then sighs. Sure, you don't care. I went through the phase of telling myself that too. I thought it would make it easier to deal, but nah. Ty pauses for another mug slurp, and you think she might be enjoying the opportunity to monologue a little bit. Daria huffs. The only thing that helps, and I'm not even sure that help is the right word for it, is finding something to work on in your own little corner. To try and make shit a little less. But there's nothing I can do in my corner. It's pointless to pretend otherwise. And that goes for everyone. Like, the whole system is designed to help Highbloods stamp out the dissent in every corner. One troll can't do anything against something like that. Ty's eyebrows twitch as she stares at Daria, clearly peeved at being interrupted. Uh-oh. This could get better. This could be going better. Well, no shit. What do you take me for? I'm not saying that all it takes is standing up and fighting for what's right or something stupid like that. It's obvious a surefire way. That's obviously a surefire way of getting cold. Well, what are you saying? How can you even know how can you even know whatever piddly little action you're taking will change anything? I can't tell you the future, dumbass. No one can give you a guarantee that any kind of action will be taken will be ultimately effective. You have to decide for yourself what's worth to try anyway. Why would you think it's worth it when everything around us confirms that nothing will ever change? I can't believe you're calling me a dumbass when that's the stupidest thing I've heard. Ty looks like she's ready to throw the contents of her mug in Daria's face. Knowing true, she'd probably follow up with the mug itself. But this is not the conversation you'd hope for at all. You step in before things can get more heated. You tell Ty that you're sorry and that you didn't flag her down just so that her ideas could get shit on. You turn to Daria, who's staring at both of you with a defiant look on her face and a stubborn set to her jaw. This kid, she's just so dead set on rebelling against anyone who tries to tell her anything but the faintest whiff of authority. You really thought that maybe all that attitude could be channeled into something productive that would also help her feel better and possibly even give her a sense of purpose. You're not mad, just disappointed. Ugh. Don't give me that look, okay? I was just stating my opinion. But I guess I could have been less of a bone bulge about it. You're pleasantly surprised that Daria more or less apologized. Ty looks mollified too. This shit just makes me so angry. Angry and sad and helpless. Like, I don't even know what to do with myself when I really have to think about it. Bingo, unfortunately. I feel the same way. I don't think there's any getting around the helplessness. But what I was trying to say is that working on something that might help fix things someday makes that feeling a little less powerful. So what you're saying is that it's just about making yourself feel better. Well, when you put it that way, it sounds bad. I believe I'm working on things that might affect change someday, even if I'm not around to see it. But also, yeah, most of the time it helps me sleep at night too. You can tell Daria is a little disappointed by this, like she doesn't trust that political rebellion can go hand in hand with making the rebels feel good about themselves. You point out that whether or not Ty feels good about her work doesn't make the work itself any less effective. Yeah, in the end, the universe doesn't care about how I feel. I'm just one troll trying to do the right thing. Or at least the okay thing. For its own sake, even if it might ultimately be futile. What the fuck else are we gonna do on this bitch of an Alternia? You got me there. I'm bored all the time and there's really isn't anything cool to do down in the caverns. I guess during my downtime when training I could, I don't know, help you out maybe? Not that I have anything to offer other than a book hive and the jank cloisters. Access to that might really help with my research actually. Give me your number and we can talk. Is it just your imagination, or does Ty look a smidgen less tired? The bags under her eyes less baggy, and her back a little straighter. And you think the corners of Daria's lips might be very slightly quirked up. Daria turns her, possibly a smile from Ty to you. That was cool, I guess. Or at least not so bad. But I don't know if it counts as something cool. So I guess we could keep hanging out until more shit happens. You know Daria well enough by now to recognize this for the ringing endorsement. That is it. And you're about to happily agree when Ty pipes up. I'm just heading home from studying, but I'm not tired yet. If you wanted a third wheel to drag along. Ah! Yeah! We made friends! Oh, I knocked into the things next to me. Oh, that's awesome. What chance for us to run into Ty like that. I miss Ty. I really miss Ty. It sucks that Daria is feeling that way, but I get it. I get it. But hopefully, with Ty at her side now, and MC as well, she can find a way to channel that helplessness into more positive things. But that's it for today, stars. If you liked the video, please give it a like, and subscribe if you haven't already to join our wonderful galaxy. Comment down below and I'll get back to you in some way or another. And I'll see you for our next adventure. Remember, we're all made of the same cosmic dust, so be nice. Kate, love you, bye!